Hola, mis amores. Vamos a hablar sobre los artículos. You probably noticed that I am not in class. Hopefully you noticed this. If not, look around. I'm so not there. All right, and so I'm going to go walk you through los artículos en español. So es masculino y también femenino con sustantivos y adjetivos también. Okay, so we're going to cover articles and nouns, and we're going to look at how we use both definitive and indefinitive articles with nouns, okay? So, saquen sus cuadernos, take out your notebook, so that way you can write this down. So, primero, we're going to talk about femenina y masculino. All right, so in Spanish, the nouns have a masculine and a feminine. So they get a article before it that aligns with whether it's masculine or feminine. Here is how you're going to know, do I put an el or la before it, all right? Or which will become a las or los if it's plural. So masculine, usually. There's always exceptions, but we're going to go with usually. This is what happens. Number one, the word ends in O. If it ends in an O, it's most likely going to be an el article before it, such as, well, I have a whole bunch of examples that I'm going to give you. I'll go through all of these. All right. Second one, the word ends in an accented vowel. All right, like café, C-A-F-E with an accent, el café. If it ends in an accented vowel, it's usually going to be a masculine and have a masculine article. Then it ends in O-R, conductor, right? El conductor. That is going to end in an O-R, so you're most likely going to have an L before it. All right? And then if it ends in a, we'll do this in Espanol, A-J-E, right? So if it ends in an A-J-E, it's most likely going to be a masculine noun, such as el mensaje, right? The message. Mensaje is masculine. So now let's get to the usual ones for feminine. All right, so if the word ends in an A, it is usually going to have la before it, right? It's going to be feminine, so it's going to have the LA before it. Also, if it ends in ción, like canción, conversación, there are so many words that end in ción. Those are going to be feminine. So you would say la canción, la conversación, la presentación. All of those that end in that ción are going to be your LAs feminines. Also, notice that accent on the O when you have ción. Almost always you're going to have an accent over the O. All right. Words that end in ia. All right. So you have the accented I and then an A. This is different than number 2 over here for the masculine because that ends in an accented vowel. Notice this one has a vowel. The accent is before it. Okay. So if it's I and then an A with an accent over the I, it's most likely going to be feminine. And then in words that end in dad. So la feminidad, right? All of those, la amistad. Well, that's different. Es diferente. But if it ends in a dad, then you're most likely going to be feminine. All right. That means you're going to put the la before it. So let's practice this. All right. Before I go through and show you these, I want you to pause. I'm actually going to pause this. And I want you to pause me right now. And I want you to figure out if these would be la or el. La being the feminine, L-A, or el being the masculine, E-L. All right. Pause this and try it. Hopefully you paused it. Did you pause it? Make sure you paused it because now I'm going to give you the answers. So nación, you'll see it's going to end in that C-I-O-N with the accent over the O. So you're going to have la nación. Mensaje, right? It ends in that A-J-E. So it's going to be el mensaje. Dolor, you're ending in that O-R. So it's going to be your el masculine, el dolor. Felicidad, right? There's your D-A-D, feminine dad, and it's going to be la felicidad. Siete. Now, este es muy raro. All right, siete is 7. So when you use this, it ends in that vowel. So it is going to be el siete, the 7. But anytime we talk about numbers in time, it's going to become las. I know, it's a little confusing, but you're going to say a las dos, a las tres, a las cuatro. It's always going to turn into las. But as 7 as a noun, then you're going to have it be masculine, el siete. Pobreza. See how that ends in an A? So that's going to be your feminine, la pobreza. All right. Now, if we make these plural, let's notice the changes. We know that nación on its own is feminine, and it's la nación. So when it becomes naciones, number one, the accent gets removed. We'll learn why. And also, it's now going to be plural in your feminine article as well. So it's going to become las naciones. Make sure you're writing all these down in your notes. All right. You want all of these examples. So if you haven't done this, pause, take down all of these examples in your notes. All right. Mensajes. That's going to be los mensajes. Now, this is where it changes. Your la, when it's plural, when your noun is plural, it goes to las. El is your singular masculine article. When it becomes plural, it becomes los. All right. So el mensaje, because it's plural now, you do los mensajes. Now, dolores, we know is masculine and it was el dolor. Now it's going to become, hopefully you said, los dolores, right? With that masculine and it's plural. Felicidades, we knew was la felicidad. Now that it's plural, las felicidades. Siete, right? When you have 7, let's say you have a whole bunch of 7s, it would be los sietes. Again, not when talking about time. If you're talking about time, like I want you to meet me at 7, you would say, por favor, vamos a tener nuestra reunión a las 7. Okay, at 7, and it was las 7. Pobrezas, we knew la pobreza was feminine, so now it's las pobrezas. So, as you see, the la, you just add an S, the L becomes los. All right? Now, of course, we have rule breakers, aka los problemas. Now, look at the word problema. Notice that it ends in an A, and it's plural, and yet it's taking on los. That's because we have some rule breakers that even though they end in an A or they end in an O or they end in an I, an accented vowel, they actually take the opposite. This is where you just have to memorize. All right. And if you want to know why, the nouns of Greek origin often ending in A or ma, most of those have English cognates, right? So when we have like problema, drama, poema, tema, all of those are of Greek origin. Because of that, they get the masculine article. So it's not la problema, it's el problema. It's not la drama, it's el drama. It's not la poema, it's el poema. And it's not la tema, it's el tema. All right, again, make sure to write these down in your notes. You're going to need to memorize these. All right, now some confusing ones where you think, oh, these are definitely going to be la as well. No. El sofá, right? So noun ending in an accent and vowel are usually masculine, right? And so that's something that you can remember with these accented vowels. So it's going to be el sofá, el tabú, el rubí. All right. So all of those are an accented vowel. Therefore, you can remember, all right, even though this is ending in an A, it's accented. So it's going to become el instead of la sofá. All right. And now for the ones that just don't make any sense. All right. El día ends in an A. It's not an accented vowel, but it's el día. La foto ends in an O, should be masculine by according to the rules, but it's la foto. El guía ends in that IA, and yet it is masculine, and it's el guía instead of la guía. Carisma ends in an A, but it's el. Moto ends in an O, but it's la. Mapa ends in an A, but it's el. Radio ends in an O, but it's la. Planeta ends in an A. Sistema, they both end in A's, but they're both L. All right, so pause this, write all these down in your notes. So that way you've got all of these examples. So, por ejemplo, aquí, este perro mastica en las mesas, right? So notice here is one that is, this is the rule breaker, the dog is. But las mesas, mesa ends in an A, so you know it's going to be la, and this is plural because it's mesas, so it becomes las. All right? So that is your first part. I'm going to stop there actually. That is your first part to work with in regard to those are all definite articles. They all mean the, and we're going to use them consistently and constantly. All right. So that's going to be part 1 for you.